Came back from Brisbane and I like that place. I like it a lot. The reason I mostly like it is because it's Sydney in the 90s. Except for instead of having the world's most beautiful harbour, it has a really polluted river that sucks and I don't think you can swim in it. If I ever do see anyone swimming in it, I will assume it's Kramer from Seinfeld, if he is in fact still alive at the point of this publication, because for the last three celebrities that I've made a reference of, they've all died. Can you believe that Betty White was going to die soon? All right. She will be sorely missed for whatever she did. I'm not particularly sure why she was famous. I think she was just famous because she looked exactly like what you would imagine a grandma would look like when you close your eyes. Nonetheless, Brisbane is a very nice place to live for several reasons. And I've already stipulated one of the main reasons. The other one is also, I think, because it has this very laid-back attitude with a lot of very laid-back, cool, young, hip people. There's a lot of hot chicks there for some reason as well. That's always odd. You always think that attractive women are going to be near the beach, and they are. Maybe a river is close enough to the beach, and because I'm assuming maybe they're just that dumb that they're just like, oh, yeah, like a harbour. And I was trying to say harbour in hot chick speak then. So, there's many things going for Brisbane, and also housing affordability. That's not too bad. I really like the fact that real estate agents will apologise to you if a house costs more than $700,000 there. If a real estate agent showed me a $700,000 house in Sydney, I'd do the Arab kiss him on the lips. Mwah! This is a good boy. That's your sound, isn't it? The Chinese national anthem that people think it sounds like, but it doesn't sound anything like that. Yes. And I was thinking about it a lot more. Why is it that everybody in Brisbane, Perth, and Adelaide are legends? And it's a little bit better in Melbourne, I've got to say. But almost everyone I've ever met in Sydney is a cunt. I think I've met two nice people in Sydney. And I think that the reason for that is as follows. There was an old mentioning from a psychological book that I read a long time ago that was talking about, and this is why it kept up in my memory, because I like fish. I like that they live in a different universe to us. A much wetter climate, if you will. And I sound like a robot at the end. Because I'm amphibious, and I'm basically a submarine. Yeah, you didn't need to build any more, Scotty. I like those people, I think because they are not crammed next to other people while they're walking down the street like they're just a bunch of eels getting farmed. They have space to move, and as such, they are much more relaxed people. Experiment with the fish. Sorry, we'll get to that now. Just mentioned it and moved on. Experiment with the fish, and it's exactly the same. I know this as an experienced aquarist. You put enough fish in a tank, they'll all die. And it won't be because of the ammonia spikes. It won't be because, I think that's the only reason they usually die, ammonia spikes. I didn't have another one to finish off that tonality. If I did, it would be to get to this point, which is the reason they die is because there's too many fish and it stresses them out. When they go into, there's two-pronged thing. Obviously, they've been extremely stressed out by the move of being in that plastic bag. And then they're put into a tank with a bunch of their fellow brethren / sisters. I don't even know if they can tell the difference between their sexes. I don't even know if they have a concept of it. I don't know if their literature on gender studies is as comprehensive as humans, but what do we know? We know very little about the world, don't we? So they obviously have very comprehensive gender studies, but then the other thing is they're already stressed out from that. Then they go in, there's too many people, they go, you know when fish bump into each other and move away? That's what I'm trying to replicate there, by the way, just to give you some commentary of my act-outs and my skills as a charadist. They are doing that. Because when you are in an environment that is overcrowded with your own species, you want to move out. The immediate instinct, the reason that human beings kept migrating originally was because once there was too much territory, there was just an instinctual depletion of resources. And so they started thinking, okay, we need to split up and move out. And if you didn't have enough room for that, that's when you started getting wars over territory and resources. But there is a warning mechanism in your mind. Sort of like, if you actually pay attention to your body, it will be telling you, you should be eating broccoli tonight. You should be eating prawn linguine. Because you're not as much of a Philistine as to just rip something out of the ground and go, like I am. But, each to their own. That's what I say. Have you ever heard anyone say that before? God, my opinions are unique. Yes. That is what's happening in your mind. It is getting to the point where it is starting to go, you need to move. You need to move because this place is getting depleted of resources. So there is a natural, instinctual, grained into your brain process for warning you that you are in an environment that is about to be depleted and that you need to move on. So the human brain is very stressed when they see a bunch of strangers around them. Human beings are only supposed to process with a handful of people. And so that's another reason why people like me exploit it. That celebrities just become the go-to guy of something. And then your primitive brain goes, yeah, there's only one cook in the world. That's Jamie Oliver, obviously. Because you just can't process that there's 4 million people. It's very hard. So when your brain does see 4 million people, it gets scared and it flips out. And it puts this natural level of stress there that doesn't exist otherwise. Obviously, like is the core of all self-help, you should be meditating. But this is what I liked about Brisbane. It's not even that stressful because there's so few people there relatively. It's probably about half the population of Sydney, less. Big enough to be a metropolitan city, small enough not to trigger you like that. And so when people walk around, also because it's just you walking around a really low sauna the whole time. Yeah, man. Everybody. Yeah. People that could beat you up. Yeah, no worries, man. Yeah, you just kick me in the nuts. That's all right. I mean, everybody makes mistakes. Was it a mistake? Oh, well, it stopped hurting anyway. See ya. That's what's happening in Yo Dome. Yo Dome doesn't have to put up with all of this new information of is that person a threat, constantly is surveying the next people that it's coming out with. And so all of that is taken aside. And so your brain starts to slow down. What am I saying here? Move to Brisbane. If you can't do that, what you should do is make sure that you're walking around in parks / national parks if they're available to you, but you should be walking around places that are devoid of people if you need to reset. If you are ever feeling overstimulated, it is because you are probably in an overcrowded domain. And even if that's the case, you can actually just replace that with walking around at night. It is just there to reset the brain and remind it, yeah, okay, you're not going to get to that point where you're a plague mouse and you're all running through the cornfield and then you run out of corn and you starve to death. It's there to remind you that you have full resources. You just need to reset your brain like that. Also, on top of that, there's something about seeing plants that the human brain likes. I don't know what that is, but can you believe that they don't like seeing 20-story high-rise apartments that are about to collapse in on themselves despite being built last year? Isn't that a phenomenon? Anyway, you should sign up to my Jordan Shanks channel. If you like phenomenons, check out the information there. This week, you are going to be extremely impoverished if you don't know what it is. I have pearls of wisdom for ye, and if you want to take them, then you're just going to have to give me the tiniest of pearl in return. But these are phenomenal pieces of advice you can very easily implement in your life, like all of it is here, life-changing. I've made people millionaires from this channel, all right? You can't tell me that this doesn't work. All you can tell me is, I don't want to sign up to Jordan Shanks and I just want to bum this for free. To which I say, fuck you. Anyway, I'll see you next week regardless. Thanks for being here, I guess.